Guys, it's Kevin here, and I got some exciting news. I don't know how exciting it is. It is a commercial for an online boater safety course, but nonetheless, I'm excited because we're rolling out a new product for livery, boat, and personal watercraft operators. Take My Boat Test is the only Florida boater safety course that was written for operators by operators. We know the needs of your customer because we're out there with them every single day, watching them do stupid stuff because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Take My Boat Test is the only online safety course that has content geared toward the first-time renter with a focus on the needs of an inexperienced boater. Look, Take My Boat Test understands the needs of both the customer and the operators because we are operators. For more info on how to sign up, reach out to me directly or check out takemyboattest.com for more info. Thanks, and let's get to it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 101 of the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. We have a really special guest, Adam Botana. Adam Botana is our Florida House rep, District 80, which is coastal Lee County. He's also the head boat washer of Baywater Boat Club and Rentals. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. Appreciate that. Hey, it's a family business. We started we started this business back in 2004. We started with a couple rental boats, and then it was 2004 down in Southwest Florida. It was like a big boom, like everywhere. So all the rental companies were actually selling out to condominiums, and they were selling out to condos and everything like that. So the rental business really blew up for us. We went from 2 boats to 16 rental boats in about 6 months. My grandfather bought an original piece of property. Like a lot of people that probably listen to this, they've owned a property for 30, 40, 50 years. And in a family business, it's always tough. People are like, what do? You do everything. And I'm talking to anybody that's in business. You do everything. So, people are like, what's your title? Like, I don't want to be, kind of a prude. So I'm the CEO or I'm the owner's son. So I said, you know what? I'm the head boat washer. I do it all, So it kind of catched. And I threw it on my, because, when iPhones came out, you had like a little signature line. I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm going to put head boat washer. And I mean, more people comment on that. Like mega people, like we deal with stuff and more people laugh about that. They get a chuckle about it. It's like, cause you're in business, you do it all. So people ask, what do you do? Yeah. I'm the head boat washer. I do it all. Sales, electrician, plumber, whatever we got to do. So it's, that's how we go. So
that's right.
Dad's the boss. My brother's in the business. He's the lifestyle consultant. Not going to touch that. But so it works out. So he does sales and stuff like that. But we're a small family business down there. We actually have a boat club also. So Baywater Boat Rentals was the original business we started in 2004. And then Baywater Boat Club was the business we started in 2006. So now we've got about 75 boats down there. We got about 100 slips. We expanded our business a couple years ago, added 33 more slips to it. So we're just a mom and pop shop. We compete with Freedom. It's a different level. We're a little bit more expensive. We give a little bit different quality of boat, just a little bit bigger, a little bit more amenities, but it works out. So, but thank you for having me on the show today, sir.
So Adam, we brought you on the show specifically to talk about Bill 606 and insurance, because that's been probably the biggest question from livery operators, bareboat charter operators in the state of Florida right now. And you're probably the only representative in the state that owns a livery. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So, yeah. So, like I said, ran for the state house a couple of years ago. Personally knocked on 10,000 doors myself, 10,237 to be exact. Water quality was an issue back in 2018 down in Southwest Florida with red tide, blue-green algae.
Oh, yeah.
It really affected our business. We had just a little bit of background how I got into politics. Rick Scott, his chief of staff's, his parents were in our boat, is in our boat club. And he came over to one day, he says, Adam, you do a lot in the boating community. You're involved in the Rotary, you're involved in a chamber. Would you like to be appointed by the governor? I'm like, no lie, I'm the head boat washer. I'd love to be appointed by the governor. Whoever gets appointed by the governor, to a boating task force, deal. So I got appointed to a FWC board, what is the BAC, so it's a Boating Advisory Committee. So we met twice a year. Great people at FWC. They put on a gig. We get together, and they have people from the shrimping industry, from parasailing, from kayaks, from everything. And we got together, and we would chat about ideas and stuff. And then it was a pretty good committee. It's like, okay, this is interesting. Made some relationships. Water quality went to crap in 18. That's when Captains for Clean Water came out. That's when a lot of people were really taking. I remember we were in D.C. with my family trip. My brother, my dad, we went up there, and we were at Mount Vernon, George Washington's house. And I was like, yeah. The guy was like, well, where are you from? Oh, Southwest Florida, Bonita Springs. He's like, oh, it's like, Chernobyl down there. I was like, no, little fake news. It's not that bad, but there was, dead animals on the beach. There was Goliath grouper. There was a lot of stuff going on. So water quality was a real issue. Came up here to Tallahassee, walked around to lobby for clean water, and was just kind of surprised of what goes on up here. And I was like, well, you know what? Plane ride home, I looked who my representative was. I seen he was termed out. See, my senator was termed out, and I was like, well, I can do this. Talk to my dad. He came over from Cuba in the 60s. He's like, 100% do it. So there was a gentleman already that was in this race for an open seat. Hey, we have term limits in Florida. It's a great thing. He had raised $100,000 already. We came out of the gate, raised $76,000 the first month, and then we just pushed it, and we raised $350,000. And I personally knocked on 10,000 doors, smoked this guy, beat him by 20 points, and
oh wow,
never been in politics before. Came up, a couple years, freshman year. Boating education is always something I'm huge on. It's what I do. First year, I tried to run a bill called the Limb Law. Just trying to keep everybody's limbs inside the boat. Bow riding is an issue in Florida. Never was an issue. And then all of a sudden there was a change that happened. They took away careless boating as a law. So the FWC or police can't pull you over for bow riding anymore. We're trying to put that back into statute. It's a common sense thing. Unfortunately, common sense sometimes in politics doesn't make sense, which brings us to this 606 bill. The idea was to clamp down on some education. We were having some issues in Miami. Senator Lania Garcia, great lady, is all about education. And we had three little words that were in this bill, and the renter, that caused some issues. We got the bill passed, went through. Later, I had a call from my insurance company to say, hey, this language is peculiar. We can't figure out, the insurance companies, we can't find insurance to cover and the renter. So it was implemented in, was it July last year is when it started, the bill. So we had some talked to FWC. You can go to FWC right now and get a stay to, so it makes the insurance companies happy until we figure out what we're doing with this bill. I filed a bill last week to eliminate that and the renter. We just repeal that right out of there so it doesn't affect the liveries. So I understand that you do have some liveries out there that are quite concerned that they're buying insurance already. Is that correct?
Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Yeah, so just to walk it back a little bit, some of the, I would say a lot of the operators right now are in a difficult situation. One is, some operators like Kevin, for example, his insurance is fine. There's specific language in his insurance that covers the renter, but then there's a lot that do not have that language. And what is there, where do they go from here? There are companies that are providing that renter insurance. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there regarding how they accept that insurance, how they apply it. And then as far as like what's going on, currently in the House regarding this glitch bill that you were talking about. So I wonder if you can kind of walk us through some of those points.
Yeah. So what I had some meetings yesterday actually with a couple insurance companies because all of a sudden the insurance companies are saying, hey, there's not a problem. We have the vessel for it. We have the ability to write this insurance. And personally myself, I don't want to legislate for business. I'm not about that. I don't want to mandate anything for anybody to purchase. If the insurance is out there and the renter wants to buy it, that's up to them. And I'm okay with that. I have no problem saying, hey, if there's a market for it, let it go, let the free market go. But I don't want to mandate where you go and pay $300 for a boat rental. I know it's cheap for some of you and that's, expensive for some of you. I don't want you to have to say, well, you need to buy insurance. That's another $50-$60 on top of your rental. That's going to affect the business. And I don't want to do that. We're not about that. That's the last thing I want to do. So, I have got no problem saying, hey, there's product out there. And that's going to be good for liveries too, because it'll actually drop your insurance if said person say, hey, it's like when you go rent a car. You go rent a car, you can get the insurance that covers you. Maybe that's a good opportunity for that. That's going to drop our insurance, because I don't know about some folks out there, but we pretty much take a Ferrari and just drive it in the boat ramp every year in insurance fees. I mean, that's what it costs us for 75 boats for all our stuff. So there's some things there that cost us money, but hey, if we can drop that price down, where this option is there for you, it's an option. It's not mandated. That's where we got to get rid of that and the renter. That's why I want to get rid of that, repeal that language. And we're working with Senator Garcia from Miami over there to repeal that language. And then we're going to look at talking about, changing the date, repealing that date for the boater cards, just more education for more people, because most of the people that have boat accidents are over 55 and 60. So we're trying to figure out what we can do to modify that date. Because right now, if you're born after 1988, you have to have a boating card. I was born in 84. Okay. We do boat orientations with our members. We take them out for 2 hours on a pontoon, 2 hours on a deck boat, show them the area, show them the waterways. And I have to take that boating class. Like, I took that boating class online and I learned things. And we have over 75 boats in our fleet. So it's good. Education's great. So we need to figure out how we either step that down, maybe a step program. Right now we're just taking it out, and we're going to get the bill heard. And folks, we start with one thing, and that's how the sausage is made in politics. You get that first committee, you start fixing it. We might have to add this, add that, might have to strike that language out, add this here. But the main thing is, I don't want to put any burden on any livery, boat rental, boat club that makes you buy this or makes the renter buy this to take your boat out. I got no problem with saying, hey, let's offer this, maybe have some insurance to the side if the renter or jet ski rider wants to purchase it. That's up to them, But that's where we're at right now. We're in the beginning stages of it. We're in committee right now. I wouldn't buy any insurance that offers this right now, because you can go to FWC, and I know you guys have the link to work with FWC to give you that stay for right now. So I wouldn't suggest anybody to buy insurance, because I don't even think it's legal yet, because there's not really any platform for that insurance just yet. So
what would you say to a livery operator right now that they hold insurance that doesn't cover the renter? I mean, they've already been issued the MEA from the FWC saying, this is going to, come into play here real soon. What do you say to an operator that's in that situation? Well, do they sit and wait?
With my business, with our business, our insurance, it covers, if a renter goes out and damages, but they're responsible for the first, it's a $5,000 deductible. That's pretty much what it is. You damage something. And what I've always told our customers, negligence is not covered. An accident is. So don't be stupid. When you go out there, don't be dumb. But there's things that cover that. So you have to work with your insurance companies and see where it is. Like I said, the MEA is right there for right now. I would wait and see. Let's get through session. Session's going to be done into April, May 1st. And I'm sure I'll be back on, and I'll keep you guys in the loop of what's going on. I mean, my whole thing is to repeal that and the renter so it doesn't cause anything. That's the end goal. And we'll know what happens over the next few weeks here when the bill starts to move, or we get it moving to see what we need to do. But there's going to probably be a vessel out there for insurance, because now there's the opportunity for it, and it might be better for liveries because it's going to help our insurance rates in the long run. Because I know how insurance is a huge thing for us out there. So
yeah, it's the biggest topic.
One of the biggest expenses.
Yeah. Right. It's like,
so, I mean, I'm telling you right now, my family owns a marina, and I'm not going to do anything to affect us either. I'm not going to do anything to affect my family's business as everybody else does. So, talk to FWC, get the MEE in there to help out with your insurance right now. And I would say wait until we get done with session, we get this bill cleaned up, and get it figured out the best way.
So the original intent was not to
no.
Make this. This was more of just...
It's called a glitch bill. There's 3 words and the renter. We would have never put that in there. That was not one of my thoughts. I mean, I own a boat rental business. My family owns a boat club. This is not something I'm going to try to make it harder for us. And I was surprised when I got the phone call, about 5-6 months ago. I was like, hey, this is an issue. We might need to talk to somebody. It's like, oh, really? Okay, well, we'll just repeal it, get it taken care of. And FWC was quick on it to get something done on a stay. We told them, hey, just stay. But there was other things they had to put a stay on this bill. But there's other things they had to implement. So they have that MEE in there. But we're going to get it cleaned up regardless of what we have to do to get this fixed.
Well, yeah, well, that provides a lot of peace of mind for people because I've been fielding so many calls about this. The misinformation, I think, is the worst because there are some companies making phone calls, renter insurance companies, muddying the waters on what is actually needed. And so if you're listening, I would say get with your insurance company. Number one, talk to the FWC. Don't talk to the salesmen calling you. They're trying to sell you products.
Yeah, I don't believe that there's actually anything with the Office of Insurance right now in the state of Florida. So just be careful what's going out there, because I don't believe there should be anybody purchasing it right now. And I will follow up with that and get back to you guys, because I don't think there's an avenue for it right yet. So
yeah, I know there's a couple of companies vying for for an opportunity. I want to shift focus a little bit because obviously there's some good things in this bill, and we talked about the expanded boaters education. But what other pieces of this bill do you think that are going to help the industry?
Well, there was talk. I was talking with a local jet ski guy. And, that's one thing I try to go to, I know about boat rentals. I know about boat clubs. But with jet skis, we always have issues down in Southwest Florida. And usually the problem is Miami is always where there's a lot of issues, and it's unfortunate, But, the whole state of Florida is not Miami. They have a lot of representation up here because they have a lot of people, but it's pretty crazy. I was talking to Kevin, who is over at Docks Beach House, who got wrecked with the storm. We were talking about stuff, and people come over and rent jet skis. And like, oh, in Miami we don't have to do this test. I'm like, well, yeah, you're supposed to, but they don't. But it's Miami, and enforcing a lot of stuff on the water is always tough for FWC and boating. We talked about, with tour guides having, there was a talk, like I thought about, well, maybe, if you're a 6-pack captain, you take people out, you go through the class to, it teaches you safety, teaches you common sense. We can't really teach common sense, but it teaches you things that, you have a cell phone, you have a first aid kit. If something happens, you stay away from other boats. A lot of times with these jet ski tours, there's a lot of bad actors out there. There is. That there's problems. They'll have 20 people, 20 skis on one guy. You can't even control that. So my idea was, all right, let's have the guides, get a 6-pack license, and then, they'll have a max of 6 skis. They'll have some education. They'll have a cell phone with them on them. There'll be some parameters. They'll have some idea. But I was talking with Kevin, and we kind of floated out with you guys, and it was more pushback. Because you know what, it's tough for some people to get a jet ski. And again, I don't want to inhibit business. But folks, if you're listening and you are one of those operators that cause problems, you're making it hard on everybody. You got to really, control yourself and, run a safe business, because all our insurance goes up because of you. So you got to think of the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture, what's going on here. And really...
Yeah, something to add on that. So I run a booking site. And we put every single livery or tour operator through an onboarding process to validate that they have insurance, that they are a legitimate business and all the necessary certifications that you would need to be that type of business. And then you have the Get My Boats, the boat setters, Facebook marketplaces, places where, they are not getting that information in that detail. And is that a problem?
I think the thing is, the idea was, okay, if we did this would get rid of that bad actor kind of thing. But I think it hinders the business more than anything. So that's why I didn't put it in this bill. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe if we just educate people more, just more education is better, because we're Florida, man. We're not here about putting laws on, strapping you down, and that's not what our governor wants. That's not what our people want. And that's not what you guys want. And that's not what I want. But maybe if we educate people more, get more education out there, and right now the bill says, hey, it's going to repeal the date. Everybody has to get it. Obviously, this is the first step. To explain politics, to explain bills, there's like, you got that whole cartoon Bill on a Hill. But when I'm up here in Tallahassee, we have it just kind of gives you a little background. We have a page program where, invites kids that are like, 10 to 14 to be on the floor, being pages where you need to send notes or whatever. Then they have a bigger one where it's messengers. They're like teenagers where they're messages going back and forth between the Senate and the House. Mm-hmm. We have a program, and you go in there and you talk to these kids, and they'll, it's a week-long thing. It's a great thing. If you got kids, sign up for it. It's awesome. But we go in there and we talk about like a bill. Okay, like I have this idea. It's a bill. It's ice cream. I love ice cream. Okay, I like vanilla ice cream. But when you go through the process, I have to go to this committee and say, hey, I got this vanilla ice cream. What do you guys think? Well, so then you have discussion. Well, somebody says, what, I love vanilla ice cream, but I want to add, Oreos to it because I like Oreos on it. Well, I like Oreos. That's okay. That's not bad. Then you go to another committee and somebody says, you know what? I like that vanilla ice cream with Oreos. How about we put some whipped cream and nuts on it? Okay, hey, that sounds good to me. I like that. So it goes to another committee. Well, then you might go to a committee there where somebody doesn't like your bill, or there might be some issues. He says, you know what? On that Sunday we have, ice cream with Oreos and whipped cream and nuts. I'm going to put dirt on that because, I don't like your bill. I'm going to throw dirt on top of that. Now, the question is, are you going to eat through that dirt to get to your vanilla ice cream? So it's about a compromise. You have to figure out what works best. And you're going to have different avenues. You're going to have people coming in and saying, well, we don't like you repealing the date on the boating because you're going to hurt the boating industry. Well, to be honest with you, the boating industry comes to me and says, we like having education. It's not going to hurt us. Because the more people are educated, the better it is. With COVID, we had such an influx of boaters that, they're not like the normal boater where, hey, you know what? My dad taught me to boat when I was, 7. That's fine. You got people who are going out and buying a 22-foot boat. It's never had a boat before, but they're born in 75. They're born in 60. It's no big deal. Just a little bit of education can go a long ways. So that's where we're trying to go with that. So
I've always had a thought, is there a lobby for the boat rental industry? Now, for probably the boat manufacturer industry, I'm sure
there's a lobby for anybody. There's a lobby for anybody. I mean, if you want to come up, and I don't understand why like now getting into politics, there's a lobby for anybody. I mean, and it's reasonably
and the reason why
cheap.
I asked that, not a lot of the livery operators had any clue about this bill. I mean, it's been talked about since last year. I mean, at least it's been publicly available, but not many operators even had any idea about it. Even the insurance companies, surprisingly, were kind of shocked.
Yeah.
At
it's
this.
So
I just
glitch.
like
It's a glitch bill that it happens, an attorney looks at it and like, oh, that's different. Actually, there's a company called NAMA. It's North American Marine Manufacturers Association. So it's a huge company. And that's how the first time I was up here. And they have a DC lobbyist, and they have a lobbyist here in Tallahassee. And we've been talking about this for the last 5-6 months. What are we going to do? What is the fix? And like, as soon as I heard from my insurance company before I talked to you, before Kevin came to me and said, hey, there's some issues with this. So we've been talking about this for a while. But there's a lot of misinformation out there. That's the thing that's going on. There's a lot of misinformation. That's why you need to go to FWC and talk directly to them. And I mean, that's why I said, hey, these are the people you talk to. They'll give you that ME. It'll keep you in business, so you don't have to worry about that. but just don't go out and purchase something right away. Let us get through session here and fix this bill and go from there to get fixed.
So you said April is session
Ends.
And
April
ends.
into April. So, and then, stuff gets implemented, usually I'll say, effective immediately or July 1, like that was there too. So, this was going to be that time and that we'll get that figured out.
Well, and we are very fortunate to have you in the house. Is there any other information you'd like to share with our listeners about Bill 606?
Guys, it was started as education to help out stuff in Dade County, to be honest with you. It's where it started in Dade County, and now there's other areas that have some issues. We're starting to have some issues on the west coast of Florida because of COVID. We had so many people buy boats and get into boating. I know in Destin you guys got some issues. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff, in politics. This is my second term now. I was a freshman. Now I'm a sophomore, and then 2 more years I'll be a junior, and then 2 more years I'll be a senior. Then I'll be done. I'll be termed out. But the longer you're here, the more I could say, the more influence you have on stuff. So we're going to work on a lot of boating over the next 6 years to bring back its safety, because boating is like the wild, wild west on certain things. There's not much, and I don't want to regulate too much. You don't want to have overbearing regulations, but you want to have safety. So I'm all about education. We're gonna fix bow riding eventually, and figure out what we can do about that. Just give the ability, because there's so many kids that get killed, especially in pontoons. I see it all the time. And we don't allow it on any of our boats. I'll yell at members. I'm like, hey, get your kids in a boat. And it's just people they just don't know. They're just uninformed. They just don't have an idea what they're doing. And it's bad, and it's a tough situation. So, we'll be working on boating, but please reach out to me. And folks, when it comes time to vote, get out there, do your research, and vote for, give me good people to work with up here. Just normal people is the main thing. So, and reach out to your state reps, because I probably know them. I know out in Destin, you got Pat Manny, the general. He's a great guy. He's out there, and he's awesome. You got Representative Pat Manny out there. He's a good guy. I know him. I call him the general. He calls me the admiral. He's a great representative. I know you got Alex Andrade in Panama City. You got Michelle Salzman out there too. You got J.R. Williamson, who's, he's retired, but you've got a couple other reps out there. You've got Dr. Joel from out there in District 1 along the Panhandle area, and Rudman, I think his name is, and you've got a couple other ones out there, Shane Abbott. But reach out to them and just talk to them and say, hey, this is an issue. Just talk to your representatives, and if they don't call you back, call me, because I'll whip them in shape, man. So we're gonna.
That's
take
good
care
to know.
Yeah. So,
man, you got my vote, Adam. In fact, it was you were so. It was everything you said was so enlightening and so great that I just stayed quiet the entire episode, man.
That's hard for you, because I was in a car with Kevin, and it was like nonstop for 10 minutes. So. But I do a podcast, so I kind of just can keep talking forever. It's a problem, and I'm in politics and a boat washer too, so it works out.
Adam, tell us a little about your podcast and where people can listen to it, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners would enjoy.
We for the last 5 years we advertised on Fox News Radio. Go figure, conservatives, Florida, wealthy people. So I just did a commercial. Hey, this is Adam Botana from Bay Watersports Boat Club, and we just say, stop down, see us, join the boat club. We got boat rentals. And then all of a sudden they call me and said, hey, there's an hour-long show that's available, because on Saturday and Sundays they don't have any news or talk shows or whatever. Would you guys be interested in purchasing it? I'm like, sure, we'll talk about boats for an hour. So I never knew what we did, so we just kind of jumped into it. And there's a disc jockey there, Jake the Millennial. He's there with Drew in the morning. He's our normal 3-hour show, and we just talk about boats. We talk about, like I was telling you earlier, mom's key lime pie, boating, politics, everything Southwest Florida, fishing. We bring in guides. So we've got over 100 shows. We got 10,000 downloads. It's the Baywater Boat Club Hour. You can just Google Baywater Boat Club Hour, and it'll pop up. And you can subscribe on, Apple, iTunes, Spotify. It's everywhere out there. And we talk every week. Like before I hopped on here with you guys, we were talking about it. Like Jake and I and my girlfriend, we went to Top Golf last week. We talked about boat rentals. We talked about new boating laws coming out, new laws in general, how great our governor is, how lucky we are that we live in the state of Florida. So, that's the main thing.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure. What's up, bud?
Hey, have you taken like voice lessons, man? Because you got that smooth radio voice down, man. And I feel like I've really learned a lot just keeping my mouth shut and listening to that voice, man. Because that's a radio voice.
Well, I'll tell you what, my family's original business. I'm actually before we were in a boat business, it's gonna blow your mind. We're actually in a carnival business. So my family's actually I'm the only state legislator. It's a carny and a boat washer livery. So we've been in business a long time. But I actually just born with it, man. It just flows. I mean, my buddy says that's why you should do a commercial. And there's people say, why don't you do voiceover work? Because you'd be really good at just a voiceover analyst. A lot of people, luckily you don't have the camera because I got a face made for radio right here. But it just comes out. When I was taking flight lessons and you get on the radio and it'd be like 9.5 Papa Fox, there was like, man, Mr. Microphone over there. But it just works, man. So just enunciate.
I love it. And listen, man, I sent you a friend request on Facebook because I'd love to get you in our group.
Yeah,
we have a watersports operator group, man, and I don't think anybody would be blowing you up too much inside the group, but it would just be, in North Florida here, it's been a difficult road sometimes with our local government. So to have somebody in office, man, that really, I mean, I didn't know you existed until Kevin was like, yeah, my friend's like a legislator. And I'm like, what? And so, yeah, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. I do apologize. I know I was like blowing you up, but
no,
I just
it's fine, man.
Needed to get, you know what I mean? I needed to get this out there. It was very important to me because just operators, they call me, and I'm sure they call you too.
No,
and
that's the thing. They don't. Like, I haven't had anybody I mean, I had a couple emails to my office, and that's why I'm telling your folks, it's real easy. I mean, we're elected by you, so drop by the office, say hello, and just send an email, call. And if that Republican legislator doesn't get back to you, let me know, because I'm the chief floor whip of the Florida House. I'll straighten them out. But I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, just really talk to, and we're all about small businesses. I mean, look at what we're doing at Disney right now. We're having some fun with that in the state of Florida. So, but we're about protecting the little guys too. I mean, that's what our state's about. That's why we are what we are. When other places were closed, we're open, and that's why we're doing what we do. I mean, and what's crazy is you think about it, Florida. If Florida was its own country, okay, we would be 17th or I think 15th at the G20. That's how big our economy is. We have over $100 billion budget in the state of Florida. So that is insane. We're third largest in the United States, third largest state, third largest economy, which is crazy. You got New York, where their budget is $200 billion. Their legislators are in session year round. We're part-time. We have a $100 billion budget, and we got $33 billion in surplus, in the state of Florida, because we're conservative. We have a balanced budget that we do every year. That's why Florida is what it is. So it's awesome. Glad to be part of it.
Heck yeah, man. This is the greatest state in the entire country to me, man. I love the state of Florida. And I got to tell you, man, when I had you on, when I first got you on the phone with Kevin, man, I prattle on when I'm nervous, man. I just feel the sound of my voice, and like talking to you in the car, I was really nervous, man.
No,
I was like, got about 80 cups of coffee in me too, and I'm just like, oh man, like a politician, because up here, man, we don't have conversations like this. The mayor of Destin, man, they do all sorts of crazy stuff and put moratoriums on us.
No.
They just,
what's going on with that? I mean, we're all about preemption in Tallahassee, because we just love smacking around county commissioners and city mayors if they don't act right. So if there's something going on out there.
Well, we should have spoke to you a couple years ago when the mayor of Destin went out and said he wants pontoon boats gone. He wants them out. Just because he's a fisherman and he doesn't like them. It was completely arbitrary. Oh yeah. So we've been dealing with a moratorium in Destin for 4 years. And they tried to put a moratorium in Fort Walton, but we formed a coalition. I believe we're the only water sport coalition in the state of Florida. And we got all the operators together, and we basically fought, city, county, commissioners on their bullshit agendas. And we got the Fort Walton Beach. They turned the moratorium down, thankfully for our support of some council. I mean, I wasn't involved politically until all this started going down, until they started coming after us. And because of the coalition and Kevin and our efforts of mobilizing all of the operators, we were brought to the table on the two ordinances for the Fort Walton Beach and also the Okaloosa County, ordinance. And we got very favorable outcomes from that. But in Destin, it was before we were organized, and they just had their way with us. So basically no pontoons or jet skis. You can't expand, no new businesses, and you can't expand your current fleets.
They kind of bang their gavel. And I mean, I've had to fight like a dog for the last 5 years since I've been here to stay in business, man, from running charter trips to, renting boats and jet skis. And, I've been a licensed captain for going on 15 years, man. And I was in South Florida, and I've never seen anything like it here. And it's been a real difficult. So when 606 came out, man, like I was just like, oh my God, I think I was like one of the first people to realize about this no renter law, because I was talking with Seth, and Seth brought it up to me, and then I was like, or the renters being covered, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening at the state level now. And so, man.
Well, send me that moratorium. You got my email. Send me that moratorium. Send me the information, and I'll do a little work into this and see exactly what's going on. I always like smacking around a county commissioner if I can, because everybody's got a boss. You realize that everybody has a boss. So, everybody, governor's got a boss. It's the American people. I got a boss. It's the Speaker of the House. But if we can, help out businesses, we're about that,
Adam, what was interesting when we were talking with the Fort Walton Beach City Council, and they shot down the moratorium. The City Council said, one of the people from City Council said, you know what? This is not right. We're conservative. And these are our values. We're pro-business. The market should set the demand for the amount of rental boats in this Fort Walton Beach city limits. In Destin, these councilmen, they claim to be conservatives and Republicans, but they're not. It's just all about their own personal agenda.
Is it?
And that's the problem.
You don't have to declare. So, okay, well,
not affiliated.
That's what happens, a lot of those times. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm conservative. And then it really doesn't happen, and that's called rhinos or whatever, Republican in name only. But, that's where we had an issue with the Keys banning sunscreen. And this was a few years ago. And it was, I remember that. It was a joke. And, they came in and, blew it up. We just put a moratorium, preemption. That's all it is preemption. And every city hates that. Like, well, we have local laws. I'm like, well, that's fine. But if you're banning business, that doesn't work. I mean, we're all about business up here at the state level.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because it's, the cards are very much, it feels at times stacked against us here. Like, I understand that they have a concern about congestion in the waterways and safety. And, they're trying to deal with that, but there's very much an overarching sense that and it's not even an overarching sense. It was very blatant during the tenure of the last mayor that, he represented the fishing boats, and that the pontoon boats and liveries were pushing out the fishing boats, and he used his power to, circumvent the free market. And I mean, like, you can see back behind me, man, like, that this is not what this country is about. It's not how we were built. The state of Florida very much survives on tourism. And while a lot of native Floridians or native Destinites feel that, that maybe that this is theirs, we still live in a free society, and the will of the people is generally, how this stuff's supposed to work. And it well, I hear, but I appreciate that, man.
I hear you. But this is where that bill comes in, where we get more education, where, and the thing is people just don't know. They're not dumb. They just don't know. I mean, I talk to cops all the time. They turn their lights on a boat, And they're like, the boat keeps driving. And they wave back like, no, you need to pull over. Like, there's cops on the water. There's just education. I think with education, where those pontoon boats know to stay the heck away from a guy fishing. All right. And I see it all the time. It pisses me off. I see the jet skis and the tour guides will pass right by a guy within like 50 feet of him. Why aggravate him? You got plenty of water. Go around him. Give every boat a bubble. And that's my personal. You got so much water. Why you got to be up this guy's ass? Why do you got to be right next to?
It's education.
Yeah, and just
and
teach.
It's on the liveries.
Yeah, and just educate. And that's where I think we can repeal this date, get more people educated, and really help out and show what they're doing. And we'll keep working on this over the next few years. But we need to fix this, and the renter, and get some more education out there, and we'll get it done.
Awesome, man. Adam, thank you so much for joining us, man. This is just absolutely amazing. I'm happy I was having plagued with technical issues at the beginning, so you could just run the show, man, because it was just this is awesome. No, I'm so happy. We're gonna have to make this like a special episode and just pump it out to operators, get it in emails. Like, everybody needs to hear this. That's this episode. That
we got your back. We'll get it figured out. That's the main thing.
Awesome, thank you so much.
That's the goal this session, and that's one main thing. And I'll keep you guys in the loop with what's going on. And come over and when the bill's up and when it's up in there, we're not that far from Tallahassee. Come over and put a jacket on and come out in front and talk in front of the committee. Get them out there and talking, because that's what you have to do. So.
Thank you so much, man. Hey, one last thing. I'm gonna come and visit Kevin at the end of February when he gets back from Montana. He told me, man, and I'm gonna try and I don't know if politicians are allowed to drink beer, and
this politician does. Don't worry, buddy.
Can we get rowdy together, man?
Absolutely. Hey, I was a boat washer before I was a politician, so don't worry about that. I stay true to form. If I got elected, anybody can get elected, so that's the main thing. So, but no. No, just try to be normal, man. Just remember who you came from, where you're at, and it's refreshing in politics. Trump ran. I was like, heck, if he can do it, I can do it. So I'm up here having fun and just trying to support our area and help out. But and again, too, this is why I tell everybody: get involved in politics. I mean, get involved on a local level. It's your right to vote. You need to, but you need to get involved too if you can. Because we just need normal people. Because the problem is, a lot of times people are like, oh, I can't run. I got too many skeletons. And again, if I run, I mean, I might have a mugshot or something, but, I still made it and it worked out. So, we just need good people to serve, man. Because, the founding fathers, they weren't lawyers. They were, they were farmers. They were business guys. There's some lawyers, obviously, but we need people to help out. So get involved.
I was going to say, don't let the hand tattoos fool you, man. I've got no claw. I have nothing in my closet, man. I was always a good boy.
No worries, buddy.
All right, Adam. Well, thanks again for joining the show, and for everyone listening, keep it up.